So in a previous video, we looked at how linking two Echo Studios together created the most incredible Dolby Atmos setup. But how about we introduce a third party to this relationship? And that's this, the Echo Sub. Just how good would that be? Let's find out. So the first reference that we'll give you is what the two Echo Studios sounded like together, and that's this.
Because we are so used to hearing sound this way, we don't notice that it is merely a fraction of what its potential could be. But what if sound could be extraordinary? Again?
Engines are up and burning.
What if sound could be captivating, subtle, authentic?
Okay, so you get the idea. It was brilliant. It completely blew my socks off and I was mightily impressed. And it got me thinking, just how good is this going to be if we introduce the Echo Sub with this setup as well? So that is exactly what we're going to do. Okay, so for this demonstration, we're moving all of the Echo Studios and the Echo Sub, and we'll set it up in my main setup in my front room. Okay, so first of all, the design, as you can see, it looks very similar. Obviously, it doesn't have that little slit at the bottom, but there is space at the bottom where you can see the downward firing 6-inch woofer is positioned. And on top, it is completely smooth. There are no buttons at all. There is a button on the back and also the power cable. In terms of size and weight, this weighs 4.2 kilograms, so it's heavier than the Echo Studios, and it is slightly wider, but not quite as high. And as you can see, in there somewhere is the actual downward firing woofer, which I believe will give around 100 watts of sub. Now, the other thing to bear in mind is going to be cost versus performance. So this is what things are going to cost you. It's going to total to around £610, $650. You can make a little bit of a saving if you didn't go for the Firecube TV and you went for the 4K Fire Stick. That will save you roughly around £60 or $70. Okay, I'm just whizzing you through the setup process, but they recommend that you set up the two Echo Studios first and then the sub.
Pepper, come out of the way. Come on.
Yeah, my dog is always in the way when I'm filming. But anyway, this is the setup that I've now got. I've got the sub on the floor to the left, as you can see, and then I've got the two Echo Studios left and right, and obviously the screen above. Okay, so let's now get the app out and show you how to set it up in there. Okay, so it's important that before you start, both of your Echo Studios are not paired with each other, they're individual speakers, and when you've put your Echo Sub in, you've scanned it, you've searched for it, and you've given it a new name. So I, for instance, have called mine my All Things Tech Sub, so now when I go to my devices list, there'll be a whole list of devices, but right at the top of there, as you can see, you've got the All Things Tech Echo Sub. Now we're going to click on that because we need to create a speaker set with that Echo Sub, and that's why it's got that yellow warning triangle. And as you can see here, it says speaker pair and there's a warning triangle by the side of it. So it's important that you then click into that because we're now going to allocate the speakers to the Echo Sub. So you go to the next section and you just click on continue, and now it will do an automatic search for which speakers are compatible with your Echo Sub. Now that may come up with a whole list if you've got lots of these devices. As you can see, my Echo Studio left and Echo Studio right both come up in that list. So now I can click on all three of these things, the Echo Sub, the Echo Studio and the Echo Studio right. Now it's important to make sure you do click on the subwoofer at the top. I did set this up a couple of times and I couldn't understand why the subwoofer wasn't working, and that was because I didn't actually select it, I just selected the studios. Now you can go in and choose which is the left channel and the right channel, so if you have got them arranged the wrong way round, you can literally just swap them. That's very simple. And now, my friends, you've created your speaker group, but now we need to link it to your home cinema. By the way, you will just need to give it a name, so I've just given mine the name of living room. So now it's time to set up the home cinema. So as you can see there at the top of the screen, you got a notification saying that your living room group was enabled. So now you need to click on the plus in the top right corner, and that brings up this screen. And now at the bottom, you need to click on set up audio system. So click on that and then it will take you to the next screen, which is which audio system do you want set up. And here we're going to select Home Cinema. So click on Home Cinema and now it will search for compatible devices. So make sure you've got your Fire TV Cube or your Fire Stick 4K. They are the only two devices that this will work with at the moment. Make sure you've got those plugged in and set up and then select those. This will now then search for the speakers that it will work with. And as you can see, it has found that living room group that we have just set up previously. So literally we can select living room group and then click next at the top of the screen. And that will then link your Fire Cube to those speakers. We're going to give it a name called Home Theatre, and we're going to call it part of our group. We're going to call it the Living Room Group. And literally, my friends, that is it. Your speakers are now all linked together, and they are linked to your Fire Cube TV or your Fire Stick 4K. These are the only devices that this will work with. You can obviously group your speakers, but not as a home cinema with any other device. Right, I think it's time that we heard what it sounds like. So just trying to quickly demonstrate the sub, it is pretty impressive. It certainly shakes my room, and it shakes this glass.
Right now, you're listening to where cinematic audio has been. Because we are so used to hearing sound this way, we don't notice that it is merely a fraction of what its potential could be. But what if sound could be extraordinary? Again.
Engines are up and burning. Opening main doors for secondary deployment. 2 more away.
What if sound could be captivating? Subtle. Authentic. What if sound could be deeper? More dimensional. There's no need to wonder, because you're listening to Dolby Atmos. With Dolby Atmos, audio can precisely move in any direction within this theater. Every sound sweeps from the back to all the way in front, arcs overhead, and moves anywhere in between. Today, move through every dimension. How does that sound?
So hopefully you'll be able to tell the difference from watching this video and hear the difference in the two sounds. Certainly in reality it was incredibly different. It was far, far better and just amazing amount of bass. Now what I would say is that there was almost too much bass, but the good news is that you can go in and tweak the settings. From your device list you can go into each one of your speakers, so whether it be the sub or whether it be your studios, and then you can change the actual sounds. You can change the bass, the treble and the mids. So it's definitely you're able to get the type of sound that you want, because I found that the default when I first connected it was far too much bass, because those studios really do pump out the bass as well, and with the extra sub it was just a little bit overpowering. So I definitely would tone mine down a bit, but I'm certainly very happy with it now that it's done. There's a couple of things that you need to be aware of if you're considering getting this type of setup. For one, you are locked into the Fire TV surround sound only. And what I mean by that is that I've not got this to work by connecting any other input to the speakers. So for instance, I tried to hook this up with my Sky cable box via the optical input, via the optical output on the Skybox, and I only got audio out of one speaker. So that pairing just completely disappeared. Now the other thing that I think that you need to be aware of is that I didn't have any issues with the Fire Cube TV. The picture quality was great, the sound was amazing through all of the apps including Netflix, YouTube and others. But I have heard some reports that it's not as great with the Fire TV Stick, the Fire TV Stick 4K. And it may well be that it's just a little bit more limited because it hasn't got the same processing power. Another question which came up on the previous video is, are you able to add rear channels? So for instance, have an Echo Plus or an Echo Dot as your rear speakers, and you can't. You can only have a maximum of 2 main speakers, so 2 devices like an Echo Plus or an Echo Studio, and then 1 sub connected to those. So there's just 3 at the moment. That may well change. So these are the 3 things that I think that they ought to consider. And obviously the other one is, if someone was to buy a set, so the sub and the 2 studios, they ought to maybe offer a little bit of a discount just to give that incentive. Anyway guys, let me know what your thoughts are. That's my thoughts. I'm very happy with it, and I think for around £500 it still offers value for money, because the really good quality soundbars are probably up around the £700 to £1,000, and so therefore this is still a little less. Let me know in the comments guys. Thanks for watching.